What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's Ask Me Anything coaching session. I'm Justin, co-founder of SiteSwan, and I'm happy to have you here today. We have a relatively small group so far. It is slowly growing, it seems. And we are going to talk about pretty much anything you want to talk about today. I have a list of questions of people who have submitted stuff ahead of time. We're going to be getting questions live from you folks as well. Thank you one and all for arriving promptly. I would like to take a quick moment to introduce you to the questions tab. Those of you who are familiar with how this goes, you won't have trouble finding it. Those of you who are new, welcome, enjoy. And we are going to start by asking everybody to go to the questions tab, say hello, and specifically tell us how long you've been with SiteSwan, how many sites do you have sold? How long have you been with SiteSwan? And how many sites do you have sold? Questions tab is where you're going to enter that. It's a question mark in a circle. I believe it's on the bottom right. I don't know. For me it is, but it might be different for you. I don't know. And that's where you can post that. Just so you know, throughout the rest of the conversation today, only myself and my moderators will be able to see the questions being posted. Well, that's actually how it's going to work the entire time. So don't be shy about communicating directly with us through that questions tab. We will see what you say. No one else will. So don't be shy, please. Okay. All right. We got Michael is saying hello. Michael's been with us for 3 months and has 1 site sold so far. Felix, what's up, man? 4 months with SiteSwan, 7 sites sold. $1,200 in recurring revenue, recurring monthly revenue, $1,200. Way to go, man. That is awesome. James is back from LA. James has been with us for 7 months, 15 plus websites. Steve, brand new, 1.5 weeks with SiteSwan. I saw you sent in some questions, Steven. We'll be sure to get to those. Ed has been with us for, you wouldn't believe this, guys, 2 days. Welcome, Ed. Thanks for doing this. You're in the right place at the right time. I got to be honest with you, because you're going to hear a bunch of stuff. Take notes, get a pen ready. You are going to be consuming a lot. Brian has been with SiteSwan since August and has sold 3 websites. Eric has been with SiteSwan for 1 month with 2 sales. That's what I'm talking about, Eric. Nice, fast start. Very, very nice. Let's see, we got Adam is here. And Adam's been with us for a couple of months. 1 site sold. Is already asking a question. I love that. Thank you. And all right, questions are already starting to come in. Thank you, Michael. Awesome. Thank you for everyone introducing yourself. A couple of you are still being quiet. Feel free to introduce yourself at any point. I would love to report anything that you have that you want to share. So a lot of people like this time of year to be selling websites. It's actually a really great time to be doing it. Making introductions to folks. Lots of people are running sales. They're doing more advertising than usual because of the upcoming holidays. So people are putting themselves a little bit more front and center, and it's easier for them to understand how important marketing is during this highly competitive marketing time. In addition to that, you also are dealing with people making more sales than usual. This is a busy season for a lot of businesses. So you can capitalize on the fact that they're busy, they have money coming in, they have more money they're willing to spend. Then on the other end of the spectrum, you have companies who are having a little bit of a slowdown period. Think like your, warm weather related services, tent rental companies, things like that. And when things slow down is when they think it's time to invest in marketing so that things won't slow down as much next time around. So really great time to be selling sites. And lots of people do make buying decisions this time of year. So do not think otherwise. All right. Let's get into this. Start submitting questions. I'm going to be addressing them. I want to start with a few that Steve was nice enough to send ahead of time. So we're going to go through a couple of these right now that I think everyone can benefit from hearing the answers to. Okay. The first one is, Steve says, if the customer already has a good website and they decline the offer for a new website from us, is it possible to still sell them reputation management and that service for indexing Google that you guys have once a month? So let's do one and one. First, I'll answer the second question. The search engine submission, which if you're not familiar with this service, go over here, Sites Search Engine Submission. This is a very powerful tool because what it's going to do is it's going to blast out your site or this particular, whatever site you sign up for. It's going to blast out the site to the search engines to basically tell them, hey, come look at me, come look at me. If you do this monthly, it can be a huge asset for helping the site perform in local search results. Anytime that you decide to do this, you got to do it. We charge $4.95 per month. The one time, to me, it's not even an option. Do the monthly. Do it for your own site. Do it for your client sites. If you want to absorb the cost, great. If you want to upcharge for it, that's fine too. Whichever way you want to go about it, I do believe this is kind of an essential. This only works on SiteSwan sites. So that's something that we cannot tell you could be applied to a site that's not on our platform. We just don't have that capability. But what can be applied to sites that are not on our platform is reputation management. And for those of you who are not familiar with this, and there are some videos on this on our YouTube, if anyone wants kind of an introductory video on reputation management, just type in reputation into the questions box. We'll send you a link to the reputation management overview video that gives you an idea on how to sell it. But the reputation management can be bolted on, but the first thing you're going to have to do is create a site. I know what you're thinking. Steven's like, I'm not building them a site. I just told you that. I know, but you have to first create a site in the system for them in order to attach the reputation management to it. So you could use any theme. Doesn't make a difference. Just create the site. And then once you're in the site details page, you can go ahead and utilize reputation management. Very simple. You punch in their Google business profile name, Facebook, Yelp, click generate free sample report, and you're going to end up with something that looks like this, which is what you can sell to your clients. And for those of you who are brand new, who are like, why the heck is Justin talking about reputation management? Let me take a half a step back real quick. So you guys all know how important reviews are, right? That's what you look at before you decide where you're going to spend your money locally. Well, lots of businesses have no clue what's being said about them online and no plan to get more 4- and 5-star reviews. Our reputation management service is a bolt-on or an add-on service that you can sell to any website client, or in this case, a non-website client, to help them understand what's being said about them with daily reports that get delivered to their inbox and an intelligent review request form, which is going to, as you guessed it, in a smart way, request reviews from the business's clients. So if it's a 4- or a 5-star review, for example, boom, they go straight to Facebook, Google, Yelp, whatever, post that publicly. If it's less than a 4-star rating, we try to have an engagement with them so they can share with the business owner their questions or concerns or problems. Hopefully they get them resolved, and now they become a 4- or a 5-star reviewer. Reputation management is extremely important for every small business, whether they have 0 reviews or if they have 1,000 reviews. So it's a perfect complement to a website, and what we feel is one of the most impactful elements of local search, which is what everyone asks about. So that's why we built it into our platform, because it's a natural connection. Now, this intelligent review request form that I showed you is something that can be added to any website. It doesn't have to be a SiteSwan website. We give you a snippet of code. You're going to copy and paste it, give it to the client. They'll pop it onto their site, and now that intelligent review request form appears on their site automatically. So, Stephen, I hope that answers your question to what you can and cannot sell for folks who initially say no to the website. And why I say initially is because you watch. One of my favorite things is you sell someone reputation management and you say, here's the code, have your web designer do this. And they go, oh, God, that's going to take me 3 weeks. They never get back to me. Or they say, oh, he's going to charge me $120 for that. And then you say, what? 3 weeks, $120? That's not the kind of relationship that we have with our web design clients. Are you sure you don't want to start working with us for your website? You'd be surprised how many opportunities get opened up when you start with reputation management and then go to the website. They could be sold in any order. Website first, reputation management second, or reputation management first, website second. Goes really, really nice. Stephen also asked if you have any example tips or how to if you have a video of how to sell SEO services as an extra service. So, Stephen, we've heard this quite a few times, and we are going to be working on something for that. I don't have anything right now, but we are going to be working on it. The amazing thing is this, Stephen. If you haven't built a lot of sites on the SiteSwan platform, you haven't got a chance to see how they perform in search. You're going to be shocked and amazed at how quickly they can excel in local search. So what I want you to do is this. If your client is specifically asking about SEO, that's one thing, okay? And they're like, no, I want to pay you to get better search results, then fine. But if they're not saying that, and you feel like you have to provide something in order to make sure that their site's going to perform well in search, that is not necessarily going to be the case. You launch this site, you follow our SEO checklist, you put it out there, and you watch. You watch how quickly the site's going to excel to the top or near the top of local search results without all those fancy schmancy overpriced SEO services that other people might be trying to sell your client. But we do understand that people are being specifically asked for SEO services and they have to give them something, and that is something we're working on. Other complementary services Stephen is asking, that really comes down to you just being a good listener. Every market's different. Every client base is different. The people who you appeal to are going to be different than another SiteSwan reseller appeals to. So pay attention and listen. You're going to be given lots of opportunities to help businesses. The main reason for that is, and I got to create a better graphic for this to kind of give you the visualization of this, but the website is essentially the hub of the marketing wheel. So if you picture a bicycle wheel with a hub and spokes coming out of it, okay, the website's always in the middle. The wheel cannot turn without that hub. And the marketing wheel cannot turn without the website being the hub. So what's interesting about when you own that website relationship, the hub of the marketing wheel, you're going to find that all of your clients are going to come to you to inquire and ask and get advice on all the spokes, all the marketing stuff. So what is that? It's SMS marketing, it's social media marketing, it's email marketing, it's direct mail and flyers, it's SEO, it's reputation management, it's local listings, it's a lot of stuff. But you have to get that relationship done first. Be a good listener to what your clients are asking for and then deliver. You can do logo design, you can do menu design, you can do all sorts of fun stuff. So, and then Stephen asks, well, do you have any other existing services we can resell from SiteSwan? Not yet, but you start reputation management, you start selling some sites, become a little website factory, and you are going to have the world open up to you. Okay? Let's see what questions we got coming in. All right. Adam says, is there a solution for our client if something happens to us as the agency or agency owner where they can still access their account and transfer their site to themselves? So Adam, they can't transfer it to themselves. Well, technically they can, but why would they sign up for, a $200 a month solution for their website? So God forbid something happens, all right? And especially if you, like this happened, this question usually comes up if someone's like, what if something major happens in my life? I need to cancel my account, move on to do something else, turn my attention somewhere else. How am I going to keep my clients happy? And the best thing is this. God forbid something happens where you need to move on. You send us a note through our support and you tell us what's going on. And we will help facilitate that website transfer to another reliable website reseller on the SiteSwan platform. Ideally, we'll find someone who is charging about the same that you are, that is providing the same level of customer service that you are, and can take them over and make it a seamless transition. All right? Fear not. We are here for you. Jamie says, what are you recommending for folks that have a full-time job but limited time to prospect? Do you know of a company that offers cold calling, prospecting services, etc.? So the interesting thing about this, Jamie, is that you're obviously committed to making a side income or perhaps turning this into a full-time job in the future, and I commend you for that. And you're not just saying, well, this is never going to work for me because I'm busy. You're saying, how can I solve for this problem? I'm willing to make the investment in myself and my business to be able to achieve this. So, Jamie, the biggest thing I want you to do is if you're not already going through our 14-day launch plan with your one-on-one coaching service, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, type coaching as a question and we will hook you up. So we coach you through the 14-day launch plan. And one of the first things, the first phase that we put you through is the social outreach phase. And that can be done literally at any time of day or night. Why am I recommending that, Jamie? Because lots of folks who start with SiteSwan find that they have a lot of success selling websites to people who they have some sort of connection with. It could be a third or a fourth level connection. Like I sold a site to the kid who bought my wife's Jeep 3.5 years ago. Don't ask. All right. It's just from people you know. So the point I'm trying to make is that if you can build upon relationships that you can literally have via text or via social media on your mobile device during work, after work, in the morning, in the evening, on the weekends, I wouldn't be surprised if you can close your first half dozen deals just through social outreach. And then the next phase, which is warm outreach, which is just connecting with people, email, phone, text, like literally people that are in your address book. Okay. Then the third phase is cold outreach. And for that, if you want to get involved doing cold calling with a third-party service, those people exist out there. Do some Google searches. I don't have a specific recommendation on a service that I can say I would, personally recommend because I don't have that personal experience of having hired someone, but I hear a lot of stories. If anyone in this chat today can highly recommend a service that will do cold calling and prospecting for you that you want to pass on to Jamie, please put it in the questions and we'll be sure to communicate that to you, Jamie. I've seen a lot of people go to Fiverr. I've seen a lot of people go to Upwork to find people who place calls for them. It's not usually too difficult to locate that person. Hop onto Craigslist also and post commission-only sales reps, stuff like that. There's lots of different options. We do have an article somewhere that talks about the process for if you did want to hire someone. I'd have to locate that. But in the meantime, let me just see if anyone's chiming in. Okay, someone recommended Indeed. Adam said, I just hired on Indeed. US based, that was pretty important to Adam. And okay, so that's the first and only suggestion we have so far. So hopefully that's a start for you. All right, let's go back to the questions coming in live. Let's see. Ed says, can you show me how to edit the hero section? Adding an image, changing the text on my website. And here's my site. Yes, Ed, I would love to do that. So let's hop into your site. Let me see if I can access it. And then I am going to pull it up for everyone to view. I can only assume, Ed, you don't care if I show your site to everybody. Okay. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Gotta find your site. Gotta find your site. Okay. I think I found it. Let me pull it up here. All right. So, Ed. First things first, Ed. Where did your site go? So, is this your marketing site? Or is this a different site that you are working on? Because this doesn't look a heck of this work. This looks like a blank canvas theme, which is fine. I just want to know what the exact intent was with this site. Let me see if you're responding in the questions tab. This is your marketing site, and I don't think it's best to recreate your marketing site. I really do think your best bet is to go into the theme that we have for your marketing site and just customize it. Okay, but I will address the question anyway. So if I wanted to modify this hero image section, what I would do is I would hover over it and I would click edit. And once I do this, you're going to find in the style section, there is the option to add a background image or video. So right now as a placeholder image, you can click replace image, and then you can find one that's suitable, whether it's something you uploaded or whether it's something that you will look through on either the Unsplash collection that we have or the Pixabay collection that we have. That is up to you. So you might say something like desk might be appropriate for an initial image or something with a computer, or you get the idea. We can add it to our image library. We can select it from our image library, click OK, and now we have updated the background of our hero image. If you want to update the text, you are going to go to the Content tab and you're going to modify it right from here. Once you're happy with how things look, you click Save, which I'm not going to do, and then you're good to go. But going back to the whole marketing site discussion, this is for anyone else who has had difficulty where they maybe perhaps accidentally deleted their marketing site or did something to it. They want to start over. Let me show you something. If you go to the Create New Site screen, and if you type in marketing, you are going to see that we give you the ability to recreate or start from scratch with your marketing website. Now, technically, there are two options. This is the one we give you automatically, but you could choose this one as well. Choose this one. It's the newest one. It's the one that everybody gets. You're probably going to have the most success with this one. You're going to click Create Site. You're going to upload your EMU Business Advisors logo up there. Change the colors to be red and green and yellow like you have in your logo, and then you're off to the races. That's how I would specifically recommend you getting past the situation that you are in. And Ed followed up to say, well, I also want to include small business loans and whatnot to keep a branding. Yeah, you can add services to the marketing website. Like, I'll show you what I mean by that. Like, if this is your marketing website, okay, which I'll click preview on, you'll see that we have a list of services that you can easily, sorry, my eye is driving me nuts right now. There's a list of services on the services page that you can modify and add something to. So if you wanted to talk about the other services that you offer, the best way to do it is to go here and you're going to clone this post and then swap out the image and swap out the text to talk about that other thing that you are offering. Okay? Hopefully that answers that question, and that gets you in a better spot to get this marketing site launched off the ground and finding success with. All right, Brian is saying, I have a potential client that is currently on GoDaddy, unfortunately locked into a 3-year contract, but she did want to inquire about what capabilities SiteSwan has to prevent hacking. She was hacked and her content was compromised. Yikes. So a lot of platforms like GoDaddy, a lot of platforms that are out there are what we call open source. And what that means is that third-party providers or like widget builders and stuff like that are granted access to the back end of the platform. So they can build this stuff, tack it on, and sometimes they're not built by the most savvy developers. And what ends up happening is that security risks are introduced to the site without you even knowing it. So one of the things that we pride ourselves on over here at SiteSwan is a closed source platform. We do not expose the source or give anyone access to build anything on it. It's only us. It's a closed environment. So that naturally makes it less likely to be susceptible to hacking. As for the locked-in contract, I know for a fact that GoDaddy is very, very flexible and forgiving with their contracts that people get quote unquote locked into. If she turns the domain name away from GoDaddy, you will probably find them be very forgiving of it and give her her prorated refund or at very least a credit. So that means like the next however many years her domain won't cost her anything. Listen, worst case scenario, assuming she didn't fall into one of the GoDaddy traps and pay a lot more than she needed to. Um, you know, I know that some of their basic plans are pretty inexpensive. If you wanted to guarantee yourself a client for the long term, you might say, you know what, we're not GoDaddy, but I'll take a portion of what you're not going to get back from GoDaddy. I'm going to subtract it from what I'm charging you because I just want you to have the best possible experience online. And I want to forge a relationship with you that I want to prove to you I'm in it for the right reasons. And you wouldn't be surprised what happens if they say yes to that. You might end up with a client for a very long time. All right, Felix is saying, is there a way to change Stripe receipts so they show company name as opposed to my name? Yeah, so within the Stripe settings, I know there's a way to do that. However, one small caveat. If you have set up your account as a personal account, meaning that not a business entity when you created your Stripe account, you might first have to convert it to a business account. So that means you would need to create whatever it is, LLC, S Corp, whatever, and then get a bank account for that business and then change the Stripe account so that it's actually a business and not personal. I think if you contact Stripe support and they tell you no, Felix, you can't change that, which I'd be shocked to hear, they might follow it up with because you got to be a business. So I would check into that. But ultimately, it's not something that we control from the SiteSwan platform. Now, let me get to Felix's other questions because Felix was also bold enough to submit some questions ahead of time, and I want to make sure that we get to those. All right, Felix said two things. What is a good method for gathering customer testimonials/reviews to post on a website? Felix, something tells me I think you know the answer to this question. You get me? You get me? Did you do a testimonial for someone recently? Think about that. What are the techniques that have worked for you when you were asked to do a testimonial? And let me just put this out there right now. You know what? Let me stop being facetious here and secretive. We have made a habit several times in the past of asking SiteSwan resellers if they'd be so kind as to leave us a review, specifically on Google. And if they did, we would send, and they could prove it that they did it, we would send them a $10 Amazon gift card. And it worked really well. Now, technically, I think there's some restrictions where you can't really say it has to be a 4 or 5 star review or anything like that. You just ask for the review, and when they show you what it is, you could send them off an Amazon gift card, which is it's a very inexpensive way to achieve long-lasting social proof of your efficacy as a business and a business owner. So that would be my best suggestion because it's literally what we've used. And if any of you want the opportunity to leave a review for SiteSwan and get that same offer, $10 Amazon gift card, let's just run a program right now. Type review in and we will get you an email with the details. You can go ahead and do that. I would love to see, obviously, if you've already done it, you can't do it again unless you have a different Google account, which that's a different story. But type in review into the questions. We will get you instructions on how to go about doing that. And then we will get you taken care of. Hopefully that answers your question. Felix also says, how do I connect a payment system to take a deposit or a prepayment? So Felix, if you're in a situation, well, first of all, You know I don't like deposits, okay? I like showing off the site, asking for the sale, and getting the full upfront fee. Unless you're starting to charge $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 for the site, I'd be shocked if a typical small business owner can't trust you enough to give you that $500 or $1,000 or $1,200 or whatever your upfront fee is on a credit card right then and there. Because think about it. And I'm curious, Felix, is this you second guessing if someone would do this or if it's them specifically asking for it? Because think about this. You've asked them if they'd be interested in seeing a website for their business. They said yes. You have now got them on a presentation where you have showed them in great detail exactly how their site is going to look, and you've impressed them and wowed them with your expertise and professionalism. There ain't no reason when you're showing them something that looks like it could easily sell for $3 to $5,000 that you're only selling for between $500 and $1,500, why they can't give you the credit card and pay for the entire thing up front, especially when you're guaranteeing them that their site's going to be live in a week. So I am kind of curious where that stems from, but I don't like taking deposits or prepayments. The partial commitment, I want a full commitment from somebody. Now, if there is some other extenuating circumstance and you need to do this deposit, we don't support it in our client billing. Like when you set somebody up for client billing, you have to set a setup fee and a monthly fee. We don't have a deposit field. What you could do is this. You could set them up. You can charge them whatever that deposit is as their setup fee. Okay. I don't know when you're intending on getting the balance, but what you can do is you can set up the setup fee. Let's just say, for argument's sake, it's $1,000. You agreed to only charge them $500 up front. Here's what you could do. You could choose your plan. You can modify your setup fee to be the $500, which is half of the setup fee. You are going to set the recurring charge to start in the future sometime, which most people do 30 days in the future. And then you punch in their credit card and complete the order. Then, when it's time for them to pay the balance, which is presumably going to be before their first monthly payment, you're going to cancel, okay? Cancel this payment, so it's going to look like this. Cancel subscription, and then you can immediately reactivate the subscription with a new setup fee and a new date for the recurring fee without retyping in the credit card information. So you're setting up a subscription with a setup fee and a future date for the monthly fee. You're going to cancel it, reactivate it with the balance, and now the monthly fee at the date you actually wanted to process on. So technically, that's your workaround. If you really wanted to hop directly into Stripe and process it there, but you might find that confusing, this might be the most straightforward way to do that. If anyone wants that in writing, type deposit, and maybe we'll create a support article on that. It talks about how you might attack that. All right, Aldo is saying, my question is there a way to bulk upload images without having to go through each section? So what's really cool about our platform, Aldo, is when you are logged into a site, which I thought I was, but I'm not. Hold on. All right, when you're logged into a site, and even though you're not looking to load all 15 images into this hero image, I'll show you what you can do. You click Edit. You go to Style to replace your image. Now, this is opening up essentially your image library. And what you can do is you can upload a ton of images all at once right from here, right from this spot. Click this button, find all the images, upload them, or grab them from your desktop, drag them over here. Now, all the images will be loaded into the site, even though you're only going to select one image for this hero image. Or maybe you select no images for the hero image and you leave it exactly the way it is. But this image editor, this image library, is where you can technically manage all of the images for the entire site in one place, which you can access this image library from pretty much any post that includes images, even those that don't, as a matter of fact. So if I want to do it from this post, I click edit, click replace image. I'm not replacing it. I'm just accessing the image library where I can upload images. Hope that makes sense, Aldo. Let me know if you need further clarification. Okay, Steven's saying, are our customer sites at SiteSwan hosted behind a firewall or a web application firewall? The short answer is no. We are not doing anything like that. I'm not sure what brought up that question. I would love to have a little bit more context there, but the best answer I can say is no to that. All right, going back to some questions that were asked ahead of time. I'm going to move over to, let's see, I got to Steven's questions. How about Anita? Anita is saying, I'm having issues pointing the DNS servers on GoDaddy to direct to SiteSwan for one of my clients who has purchased her domain through GoDaddy long before I had my web design company. Please point me in the right direction. I've been attempting to do this for a couple of weeks. And in the middle of all this, oh, geez, Anita, I'm sorry to hear. Anita's mom passed away. I'm so sorry. You've been out of it? Yeah, I totally understand that. So here's what you're going to do, Anita. If you're not clear on exactly what has to be done with GoDaddy, I want you to get with our support team, which you can access anytime from your dashboard, help, visit support center, and then from here, you're going to submit a request. And you are going to get super specific with that information. And you are also, you know what you could do ahead of this ticket if you wanted to, Anita? Watch this. Do we have an article on this or am I making this up? No, we don't. Okay. So what I want you to do is say, I have a client who's got a GoDaddy. I have a domain inside of GoDaddy. I cannot figure out what changes I have to make or how to do it for my client. What we're going to do is we're going to give you a very easy way to help grant us access to the GoDaddy account, and we'll do it for you. And if you request it, my support team will actually do a short video showing how that's done on that specific account. This way you'll never have to ask it again. You'll have full control over pointing sites live without having to ask anybody. Okay? The second question that Anita had was, my first client is an excavation company. I used the correct theme. It was my learning curve. However, it's not coming up on Google when we put in this type of business or companies near me. So by the looks of it, this is a site that was just launched. And let me see if I can pull it up. Look at this great job that Anita did, guys. Check this out. Guys, I love the excavation theme. It is so, so cool. So what Anita did was she swapped out this hero image with a real photo from her client's job site, which I think is just perfect. You know, sometimes we talk about image composition, okay? And a lot of people don't sometimes immediately understand what image composition is all about. But like when this photo was taken, okay, picture if this excavator was in the middle of the image. Like if someone framed it where the excavator was in the middle of the image, this image would not work nearly as good in this design. But the fact that they offset it gives you all this blank area over here that you can overlay text on top of, and it doesn't really interfere or compete with the background image. So this is a really great use of proper image composition because it really allows the text to be easily visible and the image to be visible as well. So what Anita's saying is like, hey, how come I'm not seeing this site come up yet in search results? So this is a relatively new site that was just launched. And as well as sites on the SiteSwan platform excel in local search. What I do want to point out is that nothing is instant. Nothing is done overnight. So it is important to understand that time is your best friend when it comes to getting the initial site rising to the top of search results. I would make sure of two more things. Number one, that you've gone through the SEO checklist. I'm not going to do an audit right now on it. Looking very quickly, I don't think that there is anything that you've changed too much from the way this theme originally came out of the box, which makes me think that this site, it's probably just a matter of a short period of time before you find this site excelling. The second thing is make sure you're using the search engine submission tool. Get that site submitted to the major search engines on the monthly basis, and you will not be disappointed. So it's just a matter of giving it a little bit of time. If you want to help your client out, get involved with the Google Business Profile. That could really accelerate things if you have the time to do that. Um, if they have a Google Business Profile already, that's great. If they don't, I would highly recommend you charge them for that. Let me just see if I can find if they have one or not. For those of you who are like, what the heck is a Google Business Profile? Let me show you. All right, see what happens. I typed in the name of the business, and usually what should happen is I would get something over here on the right side of my screen with an image, a map, some details about the business. It's called the Google Business Profile. This company doesn't have one. So here's what I would do, Anita. I would go, is Anita on the call? I really hope she is. If not, we're going to send this video to her. Let me just see. Anita, can you say hi if you're on the call? Anita, Anita, Anita. No, we're going to have to send her this video. So what Anita's going to do is she's going to say to the client, listen, Seal Pool Farms, I want to help you make sure that your site gets to the top of search results even faster for all the terms that mean the most to you, like excavation, dirt removal, landscaping, and other types of commercial and residential services in the LaRue area. And to do that, I want to help you get a Google Business Profile set up. They're free to set up, so you can either do it yourself or I can help you do it. It's $200 for us to help you do it. It's going to take us a few days at least to get it all set up and verified and everything. Otherwise, you can handle it yourself. But if you want it done quicker, we'll lend a hand. And you can actually go into business.google.com, create a listing for this business. There might be a verification process where they call the business or they email them or something like that happens. But it's usually very quick. And yeah, charge for it. This is a great upsell, a great opportunity to upsell this business on a service that's going to ultimately put your website in a better light and keep you their best friend. All right. James says, is the app or tool that helps integrate SiteSwan websites to connect with additional apps or platforms or sales channels like Facebook? Wait a second. Oh, is there an app or tool that helps integrate SiteSwan websites to connect with additional apps or platforms or sales channels like Facebook or Instagram storefronts? So I'm trying to think what type of connection you would expect to be able to make. James, if you could be a little more specific in that department. I'll tell you what's really cool, what I've seen people do, and you might have heard me talk about this before on these types of calls, but there is a service called Zapier. And Zapier is basically a way to connect and automate lots of different platforms to make functions happen automatically. And while we don't have a quote unquote Zapier integration, they have this really cool thing called Parser, which is an email parser. So I think it's parser.zapier.com, I believe. Yeah. So this is really cool because what happens is they give you an email address and you can insert this email address into a contact form on your site. And you can set it up so that a form will go both to the client and to this special email address. So let me give an example why you might find this useful and to kind of play along what James is asking about. Let's say that every time someone submitted a form on Seal Pool Farms, okay, every time someone submitted this form on this site, we would want to send them a series of emails thanking them for visiting the site and encouraging them to book an appointment. What you could do is you can make the recipient of this form both the business owner and the new email address that Email Parser by Zapier gives you. And then through the Zapier connections, you can make it so that the email address the client gives you in their form can get pushed into an email marketing platform like, let's say, MailChimp, and then send out those drip emails, those automatic emails automatically. So using email and the email parser tool will allow you to have a lot of different integrations because let's be honest, a lot of things that require automation start with an action taken on the site like a form being submitted. So keep that in mind. Hopefully that will help you get what you need done. But James, the more specific you can be with what exactly you're looking to do, we're happy to help you figure out if there's a way to do it. without dealing with APIs and stuff like that, which can be really a real big headache. Myers saying, how much do I charge for a Google business profile? Also, sometimes you need to make a video to prove this Google business is true. Yeah. So Myers a little familiar with Google business profiles. I prefer to charge at least $200 to get it set up. Other times I would charge about the same, maybe 150, 180, something like that, to like initially help them gain ownership of it, or lend a hand with making some updates to it, connect their website to it, and stuff like that. So somewhere in the $150 to $200 range is a great place to start. As you get better at optimizing those profiles and more comfortable with it, you might decide to charge more. Now, what Meyer's referring to is a somewhat unusual request that Google has, where if they are unsure about the validity of a business, they will ask for a video that demonstrates that the owner actually, that whoever is filling out this form actually has control or some sort of core access to the business. It's something that you could ask your client to do very easily. Like I remember one time I was helping out a power washer and he needed to do this. So I said, all right, here's the deal, man. You are going to record you taking the keys to your truck that has your logo on it and pressing the button to unlock the door, open up the door, use that same key to start the truck, and then come out the back and show your power wash equipment with your logo on it and send me that video. It took him 3 minutes and we got it verified instantly. So the whole video thing sounds scary. It's a little bit weird. Doesn't happen a lot, but if it does, there's always a way to get through it. Okay? Keep those questions coming. I'm going to take a few more here before we wrap up. So the next one that someone submitted ahead of time was Luis. Said, how do I handle a client that just wants a website built and not pay a monthly fee? Well, Luis, they're not going to get a website built. There's no such thing as a website that exists online without a monthly fee. It's just no such thing. It's like living rent-free. It's impossible. You got to pay to somebody. It's at the very, very, very minimum hosting that needs to happen. If they're not, okay, there's one exception why they might not be paying. There's ads all over their site. That'd be like the only exception. Eric asked, can we do online live streaming for the customers on their websites? Yeah. Oftentimes that's facilitated by a service like YouTube. They give you a snippet of code, you copy paste it, put it onto your site, and now whatever's being recorded live is now appearing on the site. Adam had asked a question about ADA compliance on sites. ADA compliance is the American Disability Association, and they have some preferences and suggestions about how sites should perform when it comes to people with visual and hearing disabilities. So we have 2 recommendations on service providers that are pretty good at helping you get quote unquote fully compliant with the ADA's requirements. So I'm going to type in ADA. Let's see what comes up. Here they are. One is called User Way. One is called Equal Web. They're pretty inexpensive options to place a little widget. If you notice, on our site we have one. You go to SiteSwan.com. It's this little accessibility icon over here. You click this and you have a whole menu of things that pop up that allow you to control things that make the site easier to consume if you have any deficiency when it comes to visual or audible. All right, 2 more questions, folks. 2 more questions. Here it is from Antonio. Antonio says, are there any plans of adding new font options? Antonio, I'd be shocked if your client's using a font that you can't find a comparable version of on our platform already. We have a lot. A lot. If you want, head on over to our support, submit a request, say, hey, my client's asking for this font, all right? And we will try and help you see if there is a font on our platform that exists that's very close to it if you can't detect one. Also, the only fonts that we do have on our platform are going to be from the Google Fonts library. What that means is that if you don't see it on fonts.google.com, there ain't no way that we can effectively add it to the site for you. If it does appear here and it's different enough from the other fonts that we have on our site where we could justify adding it, we will happily do that. So please reach out there. What else? Here's another question from Antonio: are there plans of adding an appointment scheduling feature to the platform? Antonio, my question is maybe. My answer is maybe to that question. But my suggestion for the time being is to use a third-party service. Why is that? Because there's a lot more to appointment scheduling than meets the eye. You'll be shocked at the moment you start to, spec out or imagine what appointment scheduling looks like and realize how many additional controls you actually desire to meet the needs of a typical small business. There's a lot of customization, a lot of things that need to happen. So instead of recreating something like that, which, we're not an appointment scheduler, so we're probably not going to do it as well as an appointment scheduling software that just does that. We have two options for you: Calendly and Schedulista. Both of these have proven to be pretty effective at being easy to set up and easy to integrate into any SiteSwan site with a snippet of code that gets copied and pasted. That would be my best option for you at this time. And we'll do one last question before we wrap up here. And that is from, where was it? I saw it before. Debbie. Debbie says, what are the possibilities of being able to clone different sections, perhaps their full pages, from one page to another, theme to another, or site to another, so that we can use them over and over again? So what I have for you is this. On every single site that you're managing, come on, Justin, where's the site you were just working on? All right, let's open it up again. From every single site you're working on, you have this duplicate site feature, a duplicate page feature, not duplicate site, duplicate page. So if I wanted to recreate this about page and repurpose it for something else, I can do that. I click duplicate page. It tells me I'm duplicating about us, gives me an option to insert the name of a new page I'm creating, and then it'll clone this entire thing. This, however, cannot be moved in between sites. Primary reason for that is that if you move this to a different site, there would be some misunderstandings about which colors are being used, whether they're brand colors or not, which fonts, if they should be kept or not, images that have to get added to the library. Maybe you have duplicates now. There's a lot of messiness that comes with that. The good news is that, look, worst case scenario, if I really had to replicate the things that are on a particular page somewhere else, most pages tend to not have more than between 4 and 7 different posts. So you're recreating 4 or 7 different ones, and you can do it with the current site that you're working on with that design and those design elements in mind. So that is the closest thing I can get you to having a proper feature, like moving things from one site to another. But there's just so many moving parts with that it was a feature that we never built out. With that, I want to take a quick moment to ask you, since for a lot of you this is the first time, for some of you you've been here several times, give me one key takeaway. What's one thing that popped out at you? A question someone else answered, something you heard said that you would say is valuable to you in some way, shape, or form. You can list multiple things. You can list one thing, whatever you want. I want to hear just at least one thing that you think has been helpful to you in this session. And if you have anything that you're like, man, I wish you would do this next time or whatever, please, please, please reach out, because we are more than happy to make sure that we can get everyone's questions answered in the best possible way. Andre says, Zapier to the rescue. Yes, it is a really cool tool. Michael appreciated the discussion about the Google business profile. Yes, that is an asset for you. Ian says the article on the ADA. Yeah, those two options are pretty cool. They're very, very helpful, easy to bolt on. Felix liked our discussion on SEO and reputation management. I know I kind of started, we usually don't start reputation management, but that is one of those things that is such a great tool. It's the perfect add-on. Let me just see. I'm forgetting how to pronounce your name. You gave us a, no, that was someone else. Let's see. Gennarino? I love that name. So similar to my last name. The idea is to lead with reputation management or site design, depending on the client's need. Yes, absolutely. If anyone's wondering about a recording, we will send out an email once the session concludes. And by the way, too, the moment I click end event, the entire thing is going to play from the beginning. So the recording basically gets quickly produced, spun up, and then displayed for you. It might take 5 minutes, but that will happen if you hang on after we say goodbye. Ed appreciates the fast response. My pleasure, Ed. This is that's the purpose here, to get you guys questions answered. Unless you mean our support responses, which are also pretty quick. Support.siteswan.com. Steven is walking away with a whole list, like Zapier, ADA, Google Business, Calendly Scheduler, reputation management, basically everything. Cool, Steven. Well, look, we have these things a lot. Come back to them as many times as you want. I think James is holding the record now for most consecutive. It's either James or Meyer. I don't know. You guys are in the running together for attending the most of these sessions consecutively. And I think they'll be the first to tell you that it helps to be among people who are all doing the same thing. You hear discussions about what you're doing, and it does help you facilitate your own success better. Henry says Google Business Profile, reputation management was helpful. Meyer wants more add-ons like reputation management to sell. You're reading minds. And Aldo says the bulk image upload's helpful, the SEO discussion, Zapier, reputation management, all the above. Good. So I'm glad you guys were here today, because I think we got a lot covered in a short amount of time. And we will be doing these many, many times still. Again, if anyone who submitted a note, whether it was about the coaching, whether it was about the reputation management and introduction to selling that, whether it was about the reviews, if you guys do want to leave a review, we'll take care of you. Look out for messages from us, and we'll be happy to hook you up. All right. Sorry, one last thing. Ian says, I just had a call about a band, and having a band site to use is awesome. Ian, what do we have? We have something like that. What was it? Look under music, or even type in the word band. I think we have a theme. If not, put a request through, which, by the way, you found it. Hey, by the way, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm not trying to sell you anything. But if you guys come across a business that you need to create a site for, and you don't see an applicable theme, so this often happens like in the social outreach phase or the warm outreach phase, where you connect with someone like, yeah, I want a site. And you're like, crap, I don't got a theme for that. We can still help you. For $99, you make a theme request and we make it happen in a week's time. So basically what we do is we pump up your theme request to the very, very top of the list. We will get it done in about a week's time, and then pop it into yours and everyone else's account to use right away. We spend a lot of time and energy on those. We have a long list of theme requests. We can't get to them all. So we've made this transition where it's like, hey, if you're willing to put up a couple bucks to get this thing done, we will hustle our butts off, get it done, We want to deliver for people who see a clear opportunity to sell something. So that's why we've taken that approach. Reach out and support if that appeals to you. We're more than happy to help. All right. With that, thank you all for being here on this beautiful Friday afternoon. We start in November on a high note. Let's make some sales this month. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Take care. Bye-bye.